first problem with any currency, be it gold or fiat, is that it's limited. Regardless of leverage or any other trickery, the fundamental flaw in all currency is that there is an exact amount of it. The second problem with currency is that we can't use it for anything else than trading. We've been trained from childhood to understand that if we want anything, we need money. Currency is a substitute for the things that we need. When you combine that with the knowledge that a small group of people own everything, you understand the dilemma that the species is facing right now. I've debated plenty of people on the nature of money. Before I wrote my book, Follow the Money, I would make a strong case for donuts as a better currency than greenbacks. People would laugh and walk away without hearing the argument. Should we use donuts as currency? No, at least not initially. In Follow the Money, I offered up as many solutions as possible to the inevitable and unavoidable collapse that we'll be all facing. Currency will completely crash and never recover. Donuts are better than money because more can be made, and we can eat them if we're hungry. My opinions have changed since I wrote Follow the Money. I think the best substitute for money is energy. Contrary to popular belief, energy is precisely unlimited. Also, every person, business, and government can use energy. Let's dispel the lies claiming energy is limited. If you consume even a small amount of media, you'll eventually come across someone proclaiming that we will someday run out of oil. They usually have all kinds of fancy charts and tables. Then they cry and moan about how many millions of years it took to make. Oh, God. What if I told you that it was all a lie? A lie told to keep you enslaved to the money powers. Don't believe me? How about this YouTube video? It's called Algae to Biocrude in less than 60 minutes. You see, if you apply enough pressure to algae, we can literally make as much fuel as we can grow algae. They call this substance biocrude to try and differentiate it from oil, because clearly oil comes from dinosaurs, right? Wrong. It's all a lie. They want us all to believe that it's impossible to make and hard to get. The only way to get the oil and the gas is to drill it miles into the earth. It's so hard. We gotta go down into the side. Oh, so hard. On land and also beneath the ocean. Oh, we gotta drill deep. It's so hard because it's gonna take billions of dollars. To them, it's the only way. How can we make algae? Easy. Take our human waste, food waste, grass clippings, paper, cardboard, and other biological waste, and then feed them to worms. Worms will consume all of this waste and poop out worm castings, which happens to be the best fertilizer on the planet. If we mix worm castings into seawater, it will provide the necessary ingredients for an algal bloom. Algae is one of the fastest growing organisms on the planet. It will consume the worm castings, seawater, carbon dioxide, and sunlight, and rapidly reproduce. As long as we have enough garbage to feed, the worms will have enough algae. Once we have the algae, all we need to do is scoop it up and then pass it through an extraction process. There are many commercial products that we simply just buy for this. And finally, to make the fuel we want, we'll need to pass this oil into a refinery. Do we have enough space for this? Yes. There are over 136 million square miles of ocean. And what's even better than this, the largest deserts on the planet are in the ocean. We can literally farm algae there, and the only side effect would be an entire ecosystem might be born. I just wanted to prove that not only is it something that we can do right now, But also, this is something the money powers are attempting to memory hole. As a species, we could have done this and never fought over a single oil well. Instead, what do we have? Literally, some of the most dangerous people in the world have a death grip on every patch of oil-soaked land. The only way I would do something like this, as a group, is if we had protection. I understand who we're up against. They are petty and dangerous. I don't think anyone would be able to keep millions of acres of ocean safe. So let's try something else. The money powers often give us a false alternative choice. It's either business-owned or government-owned, as if things owned by the government aren't directly influenced by the money powers. There's obviously a third option, one that they've tried to deny us for thousands of years. But now with the internet, it's impossible to stop. Collective ownership. I can, today, buy a tiny fraction of a Bitcoin, but I can't buy a fraction of a thing that produces something that I need. This is the point of this channel, a nation without borders. I hope that one day we will start collectively buying things that we need and deliver those things to ourselves. Consider algae farming. We can absolutely pool our resources together and farm algae from millions of square miles in the ocean. But I don't believe it's safe. Can we farm algae safer? Yes, with commercial algae farms. They efficiently and nearly autonomously grow algae. The only problem is, it could cost millions to purchase one for a farm. This is where we come in. Not only can we purchase algal bioreactors for large farms, we can also buy them for people's backyards. Let's say one bioreactor costs $1 million, and $1 million of us chip in $1 to own it. All the owners will have to provide the regular amount of worm castings, and in return, they'll receive a small cut of the algae created. What does the landowner get? They get a percentage of all the algae produced. So in essence, they fill the machine with water, worm castings, and algae, and then the next day, they harvest the algae and repeat. That algae gets sent to a processing facility. The landowner will be making fuel for their homes and their vehicles. Once we start collectively owning algae farms, we will start getting creative as to where else we can put algae farms. We can, right away, as a group, decide to start collectively making algal farms, and there will be no more global warming. In fact, the entire system will collapse. First, brutal dictatorships all around the world will fall apart, as their strengths came from oil profits. Next, all of the major banks will collapse. They made leveraged bets in the trillions of dollars that everyone will still be using their fuel for the next 30 years. After all that dramatic theater in Congress, guess what's changed in the hood? Yeah, see that? That's it. This one thing ain't doing shit. It's almost like our politicians are stalling for time, waiting for those trillion-dollar notes to finish. If we made our own fuel, it would be ours. Everyone who participates will get a rate of energy. Does having a rate of energy create an economy? If we have a way to store and distribute the energy, yes. Before I talk about how easy it will be if we owned our own energy storage and distribution network, I'd like to talk about a better way to make energy. In my video, talking about why the poles flip and how to stop it, I recommend chaining Stirling engines together to increase the current output, also potentially saving the world. If you couple that with nuclear power, we'll have a giant energy source. The biggest reason people give me as to why chaining Stirling engines together won't work is that the grid isn't designed for it. I agree, the grid was designed for a monopoly. Did you know Recently, as a species, we developed a way to do electrolysis on seawater. Someone took this unique idea and designed a solar-powered boat. It generates hydrogen as long as the sun is shining. I'd like to use nuclear power as a heat source, followed by a chain of potentially hundreds of Stirling engines ending in a condenser. If we put this device in the ocean, we could create an immense amount of hydrogen. And since 78% of the air is nitrogen, it'd be a simple matter of engineering to combine hydrogen with nitrogen to form ammonia. How can we use ammonia for energy? We can make an ammonia fuel cell. It's simple. We need an ammonia cracker and a hydrogen fuel cell. A direct current is created and the waste is pure water and nitrogen. We can put ammonia fuel cells in vehicles and homes. Once we have this, an economy is simple. If you have a rate of ammonia coming in, you can trade the ammonia you have and also part of the rate you're getting to anyone who is willing to accept it. If an entire city has a way of exchanging energy, it makes sense that you can go to any local store and trade it for goods and services. Why? Because they can use the energy themselves. They can pay their employees with the energy and also buy things from factories with the energy. Anyone who manufactures anything knows that energy is a major expense. If no one is willing to take your energy, you can always make whatever it is you need yourself with enough energy. Thank you for watching. I'm very interested in collectively buying things. Right now, it's just me. I hope this will change someday soon. Next time, we'll talk about how business robbed the king. Stay tuned.